Hello, welcome to your last tutorial on HTML. You've come so far. This is already the 9th video and the last video, as I already mentioned, on HTML. And today we'll just talk about some additional things that you should know and things that will be useful for you in the future. So let's first start off with the mark tag. So type in mark, close it, and let's add some text in between. So let's say you want to say something like, this is the last video on HTML, and if we save this, you can add whatever you'd like for text, and as you can see, the text is now highlighted. So let's move on to something else. Let's move on to the site tag. So this is basically italic text. So if we type something in between, so let's say tutorials on HTML, for example, you can again write whatever you would like, save, and as you can see, we now have italic text. The next thing is the BDO tag, which basically stands for bidirectional override. So I know that doesn't really make sense, but you will get it when we do it. Type in BDO and let's give it an attribute which is dir, which is direction, and equals sign, 2 quotation marks, and in between we can have 2 values. So it's either RTL or LTR. So RTL is right to left and LTR is left to right. So this is basically the direction that the text will be in. So it can either be from right to left or left to right. So let's give it RTL so you can see the change, and let's close our BDO tag and let's write something here. So hello, nice to meet you, let's say, and if we save this, refresh our page, you'll see that this text is now from right to left. You might be needing this sometime. And one more thing that we should do is add in BR tag so we can work nicely and not be messy. So next, let's make a table. So if you remember how to make a table, it's basically our table tag with the TR and the TD tag. So what I will do is type in the table tag and let's give it some attributes. So the border attributes, and I'll keep this at 2 so it's not really too thick, and let's add a cell spacing as well and give this 10 as value, and cell padding as well so we can work nicely, so it won't be small and it will be a little bit big as we're giving it some attribute. And let's close this, and now let's add something new, which is the caption tag. Type in caption and let's say we're talking about prices of something, so like prices of coffee, for example. So coffee prices, and let's close our caption tag. So this is basically going to be sort of something like a heading. You'll see when we save and refresh, and if we do that now, we'll essentially just get this because we don't have our TR and TD tag. So let's continue. Let's make TR tags and let's make our TD tags. So as you remember, table data, and close it as well. Let's duplicate this and let's close our TR tag, and let's copy this and paste it a couple of times. Here we go. And this is a little messy, so I'll sort that out right now. Here we go. Let's write some text here. So let's write coffee and let's write prices. So let's say we want the first 2 columns to be in bold as they're like the headings, so like groups of things, if you know what I mean. So what we can do is we can change the TD tag to TH, which if you remember is the table heading tag. So change the first TD tags to THs, which will make our text bold inside of them. And let's save and refresh. And here we have our table, and as you can see, these 2 texts are bold, but the rest will keep them normal and we won't change them to bold. So here let's write cappuccino, for example. You can write whatever you'd like. I don't know what kind of website you're making, and let's say the price of this is $1.50, and let's put a $sign here. Here we go. And for the last one, let's write latte, and let's say this is $2. Save and refresh, and as you can see, we now have our sort of menu thing, And here we have our caption, which is coffee prices, and these are the lists. So coffee, cappuccino, latte prices $1.50 and $2. So let's talk about the T head, T body and T foot tag. We slightly talked about this in our tables video, so let's just talk about it a little more. So firstly, let's write our T head, T body and T foot tag. So what I'll do is type in so after caption I'll write T head, and let's close our T head tag over here, and let's make a T body tag as well, T body, and we'll close that just after this second TR tag. So type in T body, and it's a closing one. And lastly, let's write T foot, and let's close it down here. Okay, so if we save and refresh, nothing will happen, as these are basically their designated places. So the T head is supposed to be up here, and the T body is supposed to be up here, and the T foot is supposed to be up here. But let's say we want to change them around, and let's write T body for the last one, and T body here as well, and change the T bodies, the original T bodies, to T foot. We'll now see that they change places. See, as you can see, they swapped places. So let's go back to our original structure, and let's move on to something else. So let's talk about the dialog box. So this basically represents a dialog box or other interactive component, such as an inspector or a window. So after the second TR tag, which is this in the TD tag just right here, and after our text, which is cappuccino in this case, let's write dialog, and the open attribute, what we're gonna write is we're gonna write some text. So this is a dialog box, and let's close our dialog tag, save and refresh. Now we should get this box over here, and if I make this bigger, you can see it's right in the middle of the page. So we can also add images, illustrations, and diagram, code snippets, etc. with the figure tags. So at the end over here, let's write figure. We'll be able to insert images and illustrations, etc. what I mentioned using this tag. So let's type img tag and src, and let's go to our folder. Here it is, and let's find a picture. So let's say I want to use images.png for example. You can see your own. So let's type in images.png, and let's close this, close our figure tag, save, refresh, and as you can see we have our image. So while the content of the figure element is related to the main flow, its position is independent of the main flow, and if removed it should not affect the flow of the document. So let's move on and write a different tag, which is fig caption. So this is basically a caption for our figure, which is this image in our case. So type in fig caption, and let's write a question. So do you like this picture? Something random, I don't know. You can write whatever you'd like. And let's close out of this fig caption. Here we go, here it is. And if we save this, we'll get a caption with our picture. So it says, do you like this picture? So let's move on to something else. Let's move on to the details tag. So let's write details, and let's add some BR tags over here, just so it looks a little cleaner, as we already know. Type in details, and this is basically going to be like a pop-up box on your page. You'll see when we actually get it done. So we're gonna type in details, and we're going to type in a summary inside of it. So what will be in the details box, if you know what I mean. First, let's write, I don't know, some details as text, just something random. You can write whatever you'd like. Let's close the summary box, and let's close our details tag as well. And if we save this, you'll see a quick summary of this. So as you can see, we have this arrow and we have some details written here, and if we click on it, it should open up something. And as we don't have anything currently opened, we're going to give it a p tag. Let's write a sentence so we know what it is. So let's write more info, so information about the details. I don't know, you can write whatever you'd like, it doesn't really matter. And if we save, and if we now open this, we'll get our more info about the details. So let's do this one more time, and let's copy and paste, and let's change this to even more details, and let's change our text inside the p tags to there is even more details. There is even more details. There is even more details about the details. So this is just something for fun. You can write whatever you'd like. And as you can see, we now have two. So this is the first one, and this is the second one. And you can make as many as you'd like. So you know the loading bars? We're now gonna make some loading bars. So the first thing that we'll do is type in progress, which is a tag, and it's basically a bar displayed as a progress bar. So you know the loading bars, those are the things. So we're gonna type in progress, and we're gonna type in value as an attribute, equals sign to quotation marks, and let's say we want 22, and we're going to write max, which is the maximum, and let's write 100%. So value is basically what will be filled up, and max, which is maximum, should be its goal. So let's close this, close our progress tag, and if we save this and refresh our page. So now let's add another loading bar, which is a scale bar, and we do that by typing in the meter tag, and we give it a value attribute, and we give it its own value of 50, and let's add a max as well, so we have a maximum, and let's make this 80, and let's close this, and let's save and refresh our page. And here we have a scale bar. So next let's make a form. So we learned how to do this in one of our old lessons, and we're going to write form action, so the action attribute, and let's say I wanted to go to one of my old files. Let's say it's called html8.html, and I actually have this, by the way, in my folder, so you should check what old files you have in your folder. And let's close this, and let's give it 3 input types. So input type equals, and let's write text for this one, and let's write input type password. So we're legitimately making a form, by the way. And let's add in a button as well. And let's say I want it to be a submit button. I'm gonna write type submit, and let's name it send, and let's close out of button, and let's save this and refresh our page. And now we have these two fields for writing name and password, and we have our send button. Now let's add in some borders around this. So what we're going to do is just after form, let's type in field set, and let's type in another tag which is called legend, and let's close legend. The field set is basically the field where these two boxes are going to be, and inside legend we're going to write your info or whatever you'd like, something like registration or something. And let's save, refresh, and now here we have our form with our name field and our password field. And if we click on send, our information will be sent to html8.html. So the data is sent to html8.html. So go ahead and delete everything, and I'll change my title here, and I'll write bonus, and I will also give a BG color here, and let's say pink, for example, just to make our page look nice, as it's our last video. And let's go ahead and talk about some extra small things that could be useful for you. So let's type in big, and let's write text. So you can write whatever you want in this text area, and let's close our big tag. This basically is just self-explanatory. It makes our text big, and as you know, we have H1 as well, H2, H3, all the H tags for making fonts bigger, and we also have the font tag as well to make the size bigger. And if we want it to be a little bit more bigger, we add another big tag just right next to it, and we close it, and as you can see, it gets a little bit bigger. So we have this exact thing with small as well. So type in small, and we don't want it to be, and type in small here as well, and now our text should be extra small. As you can see, it's tiny compared to this one. So to have underlined text, I don't think we've talked about this, so type in INS, so type in text, close this, and this should be underlined, and here we go, we have underlined text. And I believe we've talked about the U tag, which underlines text. So yeah, these were just some few small bonus things. So yeah, that was it for the HTML tutorials. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned a lot. Thank you for watching.